tayo. Madalata sana tayo sa usapan na mahina.
Social media yesterday saying that Vice President Sara Duterte, larger scheme of things is unimportant, so don't file an impeachment complaint. Sabi galing daw po sa inyo yon. Can you confirm that, sir? Was there an effort on your part to stop the filing of impeachment?
Well, it was actually private communication, but halik na, yes. Because that's really my opinion. This is not important. This does not make any difference to even one single Filipino life. So why waste time on it? What will happen if somebody files an impeachment? It will tie down the House, it will tie down the Senate, it will just take a moment and for nothing. For what? For nothing. For nothing. None of this will help improve a single Filipino life. As far as I'm concerned, it's a storm in a teacup.
Sir, have you reached the point of no return, you and VPSARA, sir?
Never say never.
Thank you, sir.
Breaking news, Vice President Sara Duterte sinagot ang pahayag ni Congressman J. Conghon, Senator Imee Marcos. May inamin tungkol kay President Bongbong Marcos at Vice President Sara Duterte. Sinagot ni Vice President Sara Duterte ang pahayag ni Zambales Representative J. Conghon na tahimik sana ang Pilipinas kung hindi siya nag-ambisyon kaagad na maging presidente. Matatanda ang tahasang inihayag ni Assistant Minority Leader J. Conghon na nagsimula ang lahat ng gulo sa palasyo nang mangarap si Vice President Sara Duterte na maging presidente bago ang takdang panahon. Ayon kay Conghon, ang ambisyon ng Vice Presidente at ang mga hakbang ng dating Pangulo na i-appoint ang anak bilang susunod na pinuno ang nagpasimuno ng sigalot sa pagitan ng mga Duterte at ng Administrasyong Marcos. Kung hindi raw nagkaroon ng maagang ambisyon, maaaring tahimik na ang lahat ngayon.
Nagsimula lang naman lahat ng kaguluhan na ito noong mangarap ang ating Vice Presidente na maging presidente ng maaga. Nung mangarap ang former President na paupuin yung kanyang anak na maging presidente kaagad. Doon naman nagsimula lahat ng ito. Nakita naman natin ng ating Presidente, si Presidente Pbbm, napakamahinahon na leader, napakamahinahon na tao dahil yan yung kanyang personalidad. Hindi pumapatol sa kahit anumang usapin na tingin niya makakasakit sa ekonomiya ng ating bansa. Nakita naman natin ang pagtatrabaho ng ating presidente kasama ng ating speaker. Wala silang ibang gustong mangyari kundi umangat ang kabuhayan ng ating mamamayan. Kung wala lang sanang maagang nangarap, wala lang sanang maagang nag-ambisyon na maging presidente, tahimik naman ang lahat. So, yung mga nangyayaring usapin na ito ngayon, alam naman natin pare-parehas kung ano yung pinagmulan.
Hindi naman ito pinalampas at sinagot ni Vice President Sara Duterte ang pahayag ni Congressman J. Conghon. Ayon kay Vice President Sara Duterte, ipinaubaya lamang umano niya kay President Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang pagiging Pangulo ng bansa noong 2022 national elections at tumakbo siya bilang Vice Presidente ni Marcos sa ilalim ng ngayon nabuwag ng Uniteam dahil daw may iba pa siyang gagawin sa panahong iyon. Unang-una, the presidency of 2022 was mine already. Nananalo na ako sa surveys. Lahat ng tao solid na. United na for my candidacy. Pero I gave it away because I felt I had to do some other things other than being President of the Republic of the Philippines. Ani Vice President Sara Duterte.
Yun ko lang dito kayo ng comment regarding po sa sinabi po ni Congressman J. Conghon po na kung hindi lang daw po kayo maagang nag-ambisyon na mag-presidente, tahimik daw po ang lahat.
Unang-una, the presidency of 2022 was mine already. Nanalo na ako sa surveys, lahat ng tao solid na, united na for my candidacy. Pero I gave it away because I felt I had to do some other things other than being President of the Republic of the Philippines. Pangalawa, hindi ako yung nagsabi sa kanila na bukas sila ng investigation or inquiry in aid of legislation that is more like a political persecution and harassment of OVP personnel. So, wag nila akong i-gaslight into saying na ako ang dahilan ng kaguluhan na ito. Ang kaguluhan na ito ay nagsimula sa sa terrorism nila, sa harassment nila, sa threats nila sa mga personnel ng Office of the Vice President.
Sa panayam ni Doc Willie Ong kay Senator Imee Marcos noong June 28, 2024, inamin ni Senator Imee Marcos na sila ang lumapit at kumimbinse kay Vice President Sara Duterte para tumakbong Vice Presidente ni President Bongbong Marcos.
So, kayo nag-convince kay Mayor Sara at that time?
At that time,
One of that?
yeah, at that time, hindi kasi kilala ni Bongbong si Mayor Sara. Binisita namin para mag-happy birthday noong
parang nalala ko
2021. Ang pakay ko, sana piliin ni Inday Sara, pag tumakbo siyang Pangulo, si Bongbong bilang Vice President. Kasi galing si Bongbong sa talo sa 2016.
Piliin bilang President?
Bilang Vice.
Okay.
Para mag-tandem sila kasi tatakbo nga na presidente si Sara, akala ko, at sana, akala ng lahat. Kasi lakas-lakas ni Sara, parang 27% siya. Lahat nangungulelat, 14, 13. Ang layo niya talaga sa lahat.
Ano to,
mga April 2021. She was way ahead talaga naman. Alam naman natin, walk over yon kung tumakbo siya noon.
Kayo ang lumapit sa kanya?
Oo, kami ni Bongbong pumunta. Sabi ko, mag-happy birthday tayo. Baka sakali swertehin tayo. Ang daming pumunta sa Davao noon. Lahat nag-o-audition para maging vice. Tapos, yun nga, ang nangyari, ayaw na ni Sara na tumakbo. Hindi na niya gustong mag-president o vice president man. Sabi niya, hindi bale na, dito na ako sa Davao. Walang gulo. Ako magme-mayor. End of story. Ayoko na dyan, magulo. And, nung nangyari yun, sinabi ko sa kanya, huwag ka naman ganyan. Lahat umasa sa'yo. Huwag kang paasa. Huwag kang ganyan. Mag-vice president ka kaya. Ayun, sabi niya, tumakbo na kayo. Ganyan, kayo na tumakbo dyan. Tapos nag-file si Bongbong. Sabi ko, kakahiya naman to. Wala naman siyang kasama. Samahan mo na lang. Ayun. Tapos after a while, na-convince din. At pumayag siya na mag-vice. Ayun. Kaya nga nalulungkot ako ngayon dahil may hidwaan na at yun, nag-resign nga sa kabinete.
Itong hidwaan, is this ilang percent pa misunderstanding lang? O baka hindi nagko-communicate? Maraming bulong-bulong? Diba? Alam mo naman, diba?
Alam mo naman, maraming manggagatong. Mga ambisyoso, mga interesado, naiinggit. So, sinisiraan yung isa sa isa. At yun, naintindihan namin at nakikita ko naman, grabe naman ang upak, ang banat, ang tiis ni VP. Kaya, wala na siguro kailangan magtanong. Obvious naman kung ano nangyari.
Pag nakikita ko minsan, Sen Imee, nakita ko minsan yung mga Duterte supporters, di ba?
Oo.
Medyo iba yung mga statement nila sa iyo minsan. Tapos minsan naman yung mga President Pbbm supporter.
Nagagalit rin sa akin. Kaya nga eh. Hirap na ako eh. Tama, kaya nga. Ayan nga eh.
Parang nahihil. Hindi ba pwedeng wala na ba, may way naman siguro magkaayusan? I think pag nag-aayusan yung bansa, gaganda naman, di ba?
Ayun na nga yung dinadasal ko noon, na magkaroon ng unity team, pag United North, United Solid South, di sana solid na lang lahat. Wala na tayong iisipin, kundi kalusugan, kabuhayan, kaunlaran, kapayapaan. Eto nga, nagkagulo-gulo pa, nagkakaisa na, marami pang nanira. Nalulungkot nga ako, hindi ko nga alam kung saan tayo patungo ng ganito eh. Balik na naman sa
Sa
bakbakan.
nababasa ko, lahat inaasa sa iyo.
Nako!
Parang
Nako!
ikaw ang nasa gitna eh, nasa eye of the storm.
Yun na nga
Diba?
eh.
Close ka sa both sides.
Tama. Kailangan talaga magmuni-muni,
Kailangan
magkonsulta,
pagdasal si
at
Sen.
pag nasal, yes, yan ang kailangan ko ngayon. kung
Anong
paano.
dinadasal mo ngayon?
Ang dinadasal ko ang ating bansa, syempre, at wala naman kundi kapayapaan at bigas pa more, para walang gutom at walang marahas.
Samantala, naglabas na ng release order ngayong araw, November 30, 2024, ang House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability kaugnay ng contempt citation ni Office of the Vice President Chief of Staff Attorney Zulaika Lopez na kasalukuyang nasa Veterans Memorial Medical Center or VMMC. Ayon sa kopya ng liham na pirmado ngayong araw, November 30, 2024, ng Committee Chairperson Representative Joel Chua at House Secretary General Reginald Velasco. Isinasaad nito ang kautusang nagpapalaya kay Lopez. Si Lopez ay nasa ilalim ng otoridad ng Kamara sa pamumuno ng House Sergeant at Arms matapos siyang mapatawan ng contempt order noong November 20 mula sa hiling ni ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro dahil umano sa liham ng Office of the Vice President sa Commission on Audit or COA na naglalaman umano ng hindi paglalahad ng COA sa Kamara na ibigay ang audit nito sa OVP. Ayon sa huling panayam ng media sa VMMC, kasalukuyan pa raw sumasailalim sa medical procedure si Lopez na siya ring ginamit nitong dahilan upang hindi makadalo sa pagdinig ng Kamara sa pagpapatuloy ng investigasyon sa umano'y questionabling paggamit ng pondo ng OVP.
Okay, now Ms. Lopez, Gina Acosta works directly under you. Is that correct?
Your Honor, Ms. Gina Acosta is one of the employees.
No. My
under
question
the
is,
office of the
she
Chief
works
of Staff.
under you?
Under the office of the Chief of Staff, Your Honor.
Yes, so you have management control, supervision over her?
In certain cases, Your Honor, because she acts as the supervising.
Miss Lopez, Attorney Lopez, something na I've been noticing about the way you've been answering.
Oh, yes.
You've been very selective and evasive. Just categorically just say, because I'm starting to believe na you're trying to paint an image of a chief of staff that's not actually the role of a chief of staff. I've worked with many chief of staff, and chief of staffs have full control, knowledge, and information about what happens internally and externally in every office. But parang dito sa lagay mo, hindi yata ganon. So anyway, my question is, Gina Acosta works under you o hindi?
Yes.
Okay. She answers to you, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
So if she answers to you, she's the SDO. Therefore, you would know about her activities, her responsibilities, and duties as the Special Disbursement Officer.
No, Your Honor. No. I was not the person who designated her, Your Honor.
No. That's not my question, Attorney Lopez. My question is, she works under you. You confirmed. You manage her. Yes. Now, my question is, Attorney Lopez, Gina Acosta, you confirmed that she works under you. That is correct?
She works with the office of the Chief of Staff.
Yes, and you are?
The Chief of Staff.
There you go, right? Now, because she works under you, you supervise her activities, correct?
Certain activities, Your Honor.
Why is it that somebody will work under you and you can only supervise certain activities?
Because she works with the office of the Chief of Staff, Your Honor, as admin officer, not as disbursing officer. So I only have a direct hand in her work as an admin officer, which is personnel management,
Kasi ang
Supplies
sinabi ni
and
Attorney
procurement.
Sanchez, pagdating sa confidential funds, Attorney Lopez, matanong na kita, may information ka tungkol dito? Meron o wala?
Wala po.
Wala. Eh bakit sinabi ng katabi mo na pagdating sa confidential intelligence fund ng Office of the Vice President, tatlong tao lang ang may knowledge at information dito? Ikaw, Gina Acosta, at si Vice President Sara Duterte. Yan ang sinabi ng katabi mo. Here. So, please explain to me, why would the person beside you say that and you would deny that?
Your Honor, I cannot answer.
Are you gonna fire her too?
I cannot answer for Director Sanchez, Your Honor.
I know,
can
but
only
my
answer for
question
myself.
is to you, Attorney Lopez. She has that opinion. It's on record, under oath. 3 people have knowledge and information on the confidential funds. You, Gina, the person that works under you, and the Vice President. So why is it now that when I'm asking you, wala kang kinalaman?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, because that is the truth. I really have no personal knowledge as regards the matter of confidential funds.
Okay. Kung talagang wala kang kinalaman, Attorney Lopez, sa utilization ng confidential funds, why is it that on April 19, 2024, where your signature is affixed to a document that was forwarded to COA, ikaw ang sumasagot sa Audit Observation Memorandum ng COA kung wala kang kinalaman sa confidential funds? Eh bakit ikaw ang sumasagot kung wala kang kinalaman?
Your Honor, as I mentioned earlier, all external communications come from that Office of the
I know.
People's Staff.
But Attorney Lopez, you're not making sense. You just mentioned that you have no knowledge and information about confidential funds, and yet, to the AOM of COA, ikaw ang sumagot.
Your Honor, with all due respect, respectfully, even for other regular audits, ako po yung all external comms, I sign off on it. It's a
And
matter
also,
of course.
Attorney Lopez, I'll bring you back to another document. August 21, 2024, muli na naman po kayong sumulat kay Chairman ng COA. At dito, sa laman po ng sulat ninyo, ipinapakiusap ninyo na kung maaari, wag i-share ang audit observation ng COA sa Kongreso. Noong August 13, 2024, nag-issue ang House Committee ng Appropriations ng subpoena, Duces Tecum, sa COA kaugnay ng COA Audit Report tungkol sa pondo ng OVP at DepEd. Matapos ang ilang budget hearing kung saan tinalakay ang paggastos ng OVP at ng DepEd Secretary ng pondong ito na umaabot ng 125 million pesos sa loob lamang ng labing isang araw. Totoo po ba ito?
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I did not catch the question. Respectfully, may you please repeat? I'm sorry.
Attorney Lopez, nag-issue po kayo ng sulat sa COA ng August 21, 2024. Tama po ba, mali?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano po ang dahilan kung bakit po kayo sumulat sa COA?
I understand during the time, Your Honor, there was a subpoena issued to the Commission on Audit for the release of certain documents pertaining to the ongoing audit of some transactions of the Office of the Vice President.
So ang dahilan kung bakit po kayo sumulat sa COA ay upang pigilan ang COA mag-release ng kanilang audit report, and other related documents tungkol sa utilization ng confidential funds ng OVP at ng DepEd. In your words, you said here, you are of the position that the subject subpoena should not be complied with. Is this correct?
Your Honor,
Is this correct? It's a yes or no, Attorney Lopez. Is this correct? Were these the words you affixed on your letter?
Your Honor,
It's a yes or no, Attorney Lopez. Oo lang po at hindi. Nandito po yung copy ng sulat. Kung gusto niyo po, bigyan ko po kayo ng copy ng sulat ninyo.
may I please
At
have
saka
a copy?
nandito po yung signature ninyo sa kopya, sa sulat.
Your Honor, respectfully, may I request a copy of the said letter? So I can...
Comsec, can you please give this to the person who has lost her memory? Can you just confirm this letter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Indicated in
Anyway,
the second
Comsec, can I have
paragraph.
my copy back? Since she has confirmed the letter.
Okay. Thank you.
When you issued this letter, Attorney Lopez, did you act on your own volition? Yes or no?
No, Your Honor.
Hindi. Hindi kayo nag-iisa. So sino ang kasama ninyo nung ito po ay inyong ipinarating sa Commission on Audit na hindi dapat sila sumunod sa subpoena duces tecum ng Kongreso?
Your Honor, this was a matter I consulted with Mr. Lemuel Ortonio.
Kayong dalawa lang.
Yes, Your Honor, for the matter of the requesting COA.
So, ang sinasabi mo, walang alam si Vice President tungkol dito?
Your Honor, it was a letter that
Ma'am, it's a yes or no. Let's not make life difficult. May kinalaman ba ang Vice Presidente sa sulat na ito? Oo, hindi.
Opo, yes.
So, she knew about the letter. Correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before you signed off to it and sent it to COA, correct?
Yes.
So, kayo po ba, Attorney Lopez, kasi ang dating po sa amin nito ay, una, hindi nun nire-respeto yung subpoena authority ng Kongreso. Pangalawa, parang sinusupil nyo yung karapatan ng mamamayan malaman kung paano ginagamit ang pondo ng mga ahensya na pinagkakatiwalaan ng mamamayan. Na pagdating sa oversight function ng mababang kapulungan at ng Senado, kung ito man ay kanilang gagamitin, ito ay hindi nyo kinikilala. Dahil sa sulat na ito, ipinapakiusap ninyo sa COA na huwag sumunod sa subpoena na in-issue ng Kongreso para hindi ibigay ang COA report sa Kongreso. At sa aking pananaw, this is one way of how do you explain it, Congressman Zia? You're good in explaining. Of covering the truth. Tinatakpan ng katotohanan. Kasi kung wala naman kayong tinatago, di ba? Kung wala naman kayong tinatago, ba't nyo pa papakiusapan yung isang ahensya na hindi i-share ang mga dokumento patungkol sa isang investigasyon na isinasagawa ng isa pang ahensya? Di ba? Ngayon, Attorney Lopez, dahil sa sulat na inalabas ninyo at inamin nyo rin naman na ikaw, si Mr. Ortonio, tama po ba? At ang ating Vice Presidente ang may alam tungkol sa sulat na ito. Hindi po ba kayo naniniwala na karapatan ng taong bayan malaman ng kung paano nyo po ginastos ang pera na ipinagkatiwala sa inyo?
Your Honor, may I answer?
Please answer.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Respectfully, Your Honor, that letter does not in any way seek to undermine the power of Congress as regards matters regarding to the power of the purse. It is not. It is simply a request from to the Commission of Audit, given that there is still an ongoing audit investigation. That's why we requested that since hindi pa naman po natatapos yung audit, hindi naman po din tama na ibibigay na muna yung ganong documents. With due respect also to the audit still being done at the Office of the Vice President. So yun lang po yung position namin. We do not seek to belittle nor undermine the power of Congress, Your Honor. That is the farthest and the least of our intention.
But Attorney Lopez, that is not a call for you to make. Right?
Your Honor, it was
Precisely because you are the agency that is being investigated. That's totally uncalled for. You're asking another agency not to cooperate with Congress when an ongoing investigation is happening. That's suppression of the truth. At the very least, dapat hinayaan nyo na lang. Di ba? Kung wala naman kayong tinatago, pwede nyo naman po ipaliwanag yun dito pag nag-hearing na tayo. Kasi nandito po sa sulat ninyo, parang pinipigilan nyo yung COA at pinapakiusapan nyo na huwag nyong ibigay. Nasa palagay ko po ay hindi po tama. Hindi po tama sa maraming aspeto ng pagtingin at pananaw. Kasi maaaring tama ang sinabi ninyo na hindi pa kumpleto yung pagsusuri na ginagawa ng COA, but that's not your call to make. That's COA's call to make, which they have emphasized many times while they've been here. But for this letter, Attorney Lopez, mukha po kasing talagang ayaw niyong malaman ng taong bayan kung paano niyo po ginastos yung 612 million pesos na confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President at pati po ng DepEd.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Wait, I'll get to you, Attorney Lopez.
Okay.
So ngayon, Attorney Lopez, are you still of the position that you have no knowledge about these confidential funds?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have two documents here that you signed off. One, questioning not naman questioning, na pinapaliwanag mo yung AOM ng COA. Signature mo ang naka-affix doon. Number two, another letter addressed to COA na ipinapakiusap mo sa COA na wag munang ibigay ang audit observation sa Kongreso. That's your signature. Am I correct, Attorney Lopez?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And you are still expecting that the committee will believe you na pag sinabi mo hanggang ngayon wala ka pa ring alam maski 2 beses ka nang sumulat sa COA tungkol sa confidential fund.
Your Honor, quick reading of the letter would indicate...
No, that's my... anyway, Mr. Chair, I would just like to end my point because I don't think Attorney Lopez will cooperate with us anyway. I would just like to manifest those 2 letters are true. Those 2 letters cannot be denied. Her signature is on those 2 letters. Those 2 letters are both addressed to the Commission on Audit. One, intent of the letter, ipinapaliwanag yung audit observation. Pangalawang sulat, ipinapakiusap sa COA na huwag i-share at ibahagi ang audit observation sa Kongreso. So napakahirap pong paniwalaan ng isang taong nakapirma sa dalawang sulat na yan ay walang kinalaman patungkol sa isyong kanyang ipinapakiusap sa Commission on Audit. No one in their right mind, Mr. Chair, will affix their signature in a document that they do not have any knowledge of. Abogado po kayo, Attorney Lopez. Kung ako nga, pipirma lang sa dokumento, inaaral ko muna kung anong nilalaman. Ito pa. COA. Dito pa, pera ng taong bayan. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Jay Suarez.
Mr. Chair.
Respectfully,
Before I
Mr. Chair.
recognize Congressman Sia and
Respectfully, Mr. Chair.
yes, you want to respond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
As regards the matter of the writing to the Commission on Audit, as regards the subpoena, we recognize the authority and the power of the Commission of Audit, Your Honor, as to all matters pertaining to audit, which is why we wrote to them. That was just our request on the end of the Office of the Vice President. And as regards the matter of explaining or explanation sent as to the AOM, those are matters, Your Honor, that, as I mentioned earlier, external communications fall under the Office of the Chief of Staff. The matter as to the preparation, etc., as long as it's in good compliant with form, those are matters that I sign off to as a matter of course. Hence the two letters, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Lopez.
My questions would have centered on the existence of satellite offices of the Office of the Vice President. Unfortunately, COA submitted the data and information regarding the satellite offices of the OVP just last night. Tama po.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, I did not have time to look into these documents kasi gabi na kayo nag-submit it. Mr. Chair, be that as it may, I will not ask questions about that. But I would like to make first a manifestation. From the previous hearings, we have established two things as regards the documentary pieces of evidence of payments for confidential funds. Una, ang mga irregularidad sa mga impormasyon na nakasaad sa mga acknowledgement receipts. At ikalawa, ang kakulungan sa mga kinakailangang impormasyon para matiyak kung tama ba ang paggamit ng confidential funds na ito. Attorney Lopez, do you believe that public officers occupy a public trust?
Yes, Your Honor, that is enshrined in the Constitution.
Section 1, Article 11 of the Constitution. Tama?
Yes.
Yes. Now, would you also agree with me that the impassivity of the public officers and employees to attend congressional inquiries of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability gives rise to a betrayal of public trust, considering that they are avoiding public accountability through inquiry by duly elected representatives? Would you believe that? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Your Honor, may I be allowed to...
Yes or no? I'm asking if you believe it or not.
Your Honor...
You do not believe it?
No, in the sense that it is not a betrayal of public trust, exactly, Your Honor. Because the decision to attend the hearing, Your Honor, is a personal one.
No, because you are compelled if we issue a subpoena. It's not personal. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor, because if it's a subpoena, it becomes coercive.
Yes.
But in the end, respectfully, if it is an invitation, there is also a right on the end of the invitee to decline.
I agree. But the end of
Yes,
that is that we can issue a subpoena
Yes. that
in
is
order
correct.
to force you to attend these hearings. Tama.
Yes, Your Honor.
O in that case, if you are forced to attend hearings and you do not attend, would that not also constitute a betrayal of public trust? Following your logic,
Your Honor,
pakisagot lang po na yes or no. Yung katanungan ko po, yes or no eh. There's no need for any explanation unless I ask for one.
it could be, Your Honor, yes.
Thank you. Would you agree also with me that public officers must uphold public interest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And part and parcel of the duties and responsibilities of public officers is to give due regard to the lawful processes of a co-equal branch of government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And the impassivity of the public officers and employees to attend the congressional inquiries of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability gives rise to a betrayal of public trust, considering that their continued absence interfere with the actions and mandate of this committee, just like your two people, the special dispersing officers, in the persons of Madam Gina Acosta and Madam Sunshine Fajarda. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank
It is
you.
a possibility, yes.
And therefore, being the boss, you are also obliged to see to it that they perform this duty.
Yes, Your Honor, I
And
hear
therefore, we expect na pagsabihan mo sila
Apo.
na umattend dito sa hearing na ito. That's part of your duty.
that. Respectfully, Your Honor, that was my commitment earlier, that I will endeavor to bring them to the next hearing.
Thank you. And I think you will also believe that public officers are sworn to uphold the Constitution. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
And public officers have sworn to uphold the Constitution and have violated their oath by preventing Congress from lawfully exercising its own mandate under Section 21, Article 6 of the Constitution to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation. Would you agree with that also?
Sir, respectfully, may you please repeat that particular question lang, this one, and the phrase that you refer to?
Yes. Public officers are sworn to uphold the Constitution.
Yes.
Yes. Public officers have sworn to uphold the Constitution and would have violated their oath by preventing Congress from lawfully exercising its mandate under Section 21, Article 6 of the Constitution to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If you, Your Honor, may I seek to qualify my answer as regards the last question?
Mr. Chair.
Your Honor,
please.
Sa
Mr. Chair.
akin, Mr. Chairman.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Okay. In this case, Your Honor, preventing or aggressive defiance, Your Honor, that might constitute as such. But if there is a valid reason on the end of the person, that might be considered. But again, aggressive and continued defiance without justification or reason, Your Honor, that may be taken as such.
Congressman Acop.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. But you will also believe that the queries of members of the committee remain and will remain unanswered if the responsible public officers or employees fail to elucidate on the subject issues by their continued absence. And the conspicuous absence of these public officers and employees of the Office of the Vice President causes immediate or threatened injury to the powers of this committee granted under the Constitution. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, dahil po sa ginagawa ng mga tauhan under Attorney Lopez and under the Office of the Vice President, I believe that we can file administrative cases against the non-attending public officers and employees of the OVP before the Office of the Ombudsman. That is my point of view and my stand, Mr. Chair. Kasi they can be charged for misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service as a cause of action. Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I proceed?
Please continue.
Thank you. Clarificatory questions. Attorney Lopez, you are the Chief of Staff and Undersecretary under the Office of the Vice President. As such, you are the number 2 insofar as the OVP is concerned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And all those people under the Office of the
Vice President.
Vice President, kayo po ang tinitingnan na mataas maliban kay Vice President.
Yes, after the Vice President.
Yes. Being the Chief of Staff, kami po, ako, galing sa militar, galing sa pulis, yung mga iba, may mga opisina, meron silang mga Chief of Staff. And everybody of us will say na yung Chief of Staff ang nakakaalam lahat ng operations na kanilang opisina. Would you agree with that?
In my experience, Your Honor, that does not hold true. So I cannot agree to that.
How long have you
statement.
been in the government service?
More than 10 years, Your Honor.
10 years. Ako, more than 4 decades.
I hear.
At ang pagkaalam ko, yung Chief of Staff is the most knowledgeable among the staff of a head of office.
In most cases, Your Honor, yes. That
So
is
you're the
correct.
only exception?
No, Your Honor, it is only in this matter that I am not privy to.
You're not privy on what matter?
The matter of confidential funds in the...
You're lying, Madam Attorney, simply because the letters that you wrote to COA would belie your statement. Kasi alam mo eh, if you read intently the contents of your letters, alam mo. How can you explain yung AOM?
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr.
Kayo
Chair,
po ang nakapirma doon.
ako po
And
yung...
would you say na pumirma ka na hindi mo alam yung nandun? Are you trying to tell me that, being a lawyer?
Your Honor, the documents, the attachments, as regards the answer to the AOM, was presented and prepared by Mr. Ortonio. It is not incumbent upon me to double-check or to review such documents, Your Honor. My role in the
Pero
Office of the
ikaw ang
Vice...
pumirma.
Office of the
Di
Vice...
ba, sa bilang abogado, ang sabi nga sa law school, di ba, sa inyo, bago mo pirmahan yung iyong death warrant, basahin mo muna.
Opo.
Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. I simply checked, Your Honor, the form. Ano po yung attachments
Ikaw naman,
and the
attorney.
explanation. Your Honor, respectfully, Mr. Chair, I have also mentioned this earlier when in the question of Congressman Adjo, Congressman Zia, I mentioned that the matter of disbursement, utilization of the confidential fund, that is the matter that I am not really privy to. But in the matter of explaining, for example, issuing external communications to a government agency such as the Commission on Audit as the highest official in the OVP, Your Honor, I sign off on all the documents. That is one of my role and
And what is the significance of your signature?
that it has been
Hindi ba
reviewed.
dapat dun is alam mo yung bagay na yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Ikaw naman, oh. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng, attorney, hindi ka pwedeng pipirma sa isang na hindi mo babasahin. That is your training as a lawyer. You cannot depart from that. Yes.
Respectfully, Mr. Chair, as mentioned earlier, I signed it as a matter of course as the head of the agency for that external communication. Subject, of course, to the attachments that were included and the explanations made, Your Honor.
I think you better change that, madam. Dahil one day you might be signing your death warrant when you do not read it. Di ba posible po yun?
Yun po, I can only speak for that, my experience, Your Honor. That was exactly what happened in that letter.
Thank you. How long have you been working with Mr. Ortonio and Madam Acosta?
Mr. Ortonio was a colleague also in the city government, Your Honor, of Davao.
How about Madam Acosta?
Also one of the employees of the local government unit.
So matagal na kayo magkasama. And how long would that be?
More than 10 years, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Oh. Doon sa 10 years na yon, mas mataas ba sila sa iyo o mas mataas ka pa rin sa kanila?
Mr. Ortonio was a city department head also, Your Honor, which had the same rank as me. But Miss Gina Acosta is one of the employees.
But you were the
senior.
city administrator then.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, you know everybody. You know what is going on in the local government unit that you belong to, right?
I know a lot of, not everything, Your Honor.
It is expected of the city administrator to know the operations of the local government unit, especially the branches or the offices under that unit.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes. Alam ko naman na maaaring hindi mo alam lahat, but it is expected of you, being the city administrator, alam mo dapat ang mga yon. Right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, doon sa confidential fund, do you know of its existence in your office? Kasi kanina, dinideny mo parang wala kang kaalam-alam eh. But do you know the existence of a confidential fund in your office?
Yes, Your Honor. It is part of our budget.
Hindi. Yung 2022, did you know that?
2022, Your Honor?
Yes, yung
Yes.
125.
Yes.
Yes, you know it. How did you come to know about it?
Your Honor, it was part of the recommendation, the request that we made to the Department of Budget and Management.
Sino po ang gumawa ng sulat na yun?
The letter was signed by the head of agency, Your Honor.
So, it's the head of agency ang gumawa. Hindi mo sinasagot yung tanong ko. Yung tanong ko is, if you understood it properly, sino po ang gumawa ng sulat na yun? Yun ang tanong ko eh.
Attorney Lopez,
Are you trying to tell me that
please be responsive to the question.
Are you trying to tell me that the Vice President was the one who prepared that letter?
No, Your Honor. We drafted the letter for consideration of the Vice President. We included therein all the other requests that we needed from the Department of Budget and Management. It is
So
a request.
you know something about confidential funds.
The request, Your Honor, yes.
Ano naman? The request of the confidential fund. Well, yung confidential fund per se, hindi mo alam?
Your Honor, as mentioned earlier in the interpellation of Mr. Zia Diong, only the disbursement, utilization these are matters that I am not privy to. But in the request for the budget that included the confidential fund, we drafted that letter, Your Honor.
Kasi in your letter to COA na pinirmahan ninyo ni Mr. Ortonio, detalyadong-detalyado eh. It pertains to yung liquidation reports insofar as the confidential funds are concerned. And yet you're telling us you do not know anything about its utilization, but you can answer the AOMs of COA. Specific na po yun, yung mga observations ng COA. Now, kaya I cannot believe that you do not know anything about its disbursement
Your
or
Honor.
its liquidation. Kasi nandito eh. Ang nakalagay dito, if may read, we respond to its finding in the AOM in seriatim. Kalagay, the submitted liquidation reports with their supporting documents. You're already speaking of liquidation reports. And still you deny you do not know?
Your
Baka
Honor,
mapikon ako iha eh.
respectfully, Your Honor, I am not, I wouldn't want that, Your Honor. The letter was prepared, as mentioned earlier, by Mr. Ortonio, and he presented the attachments to the same. As a matter of course, Your Honor, I took a look at it, looked at the attachments, and then saw it correct in form. And because all external communications have to be signed by the highest official in the Office of the Vice President, I signed off. It was a matter of course, Your Honor, on my end. In the same manner...
So, when you say matter of course, Madam, you said it's ministerial on your part?
Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Chair, even in the regular audit, when we have AOMs, these are...
Ma'am, you have to be reminded that you are under oath.
Yes, I know that. Your Honor, even for the matter of regular audit, these items are prepared by the finance cluster. And on my end, Your Honor, I review the attachments and the explanations, and then I sign off on it also. So it is really, that is, Sir Akop, what I meant by it's a matter of course. It is something that I sign off on, provided in form, it's already the proper attachments and the explanations are there. But as to whether how it was liquidated and how it was disbursed, I have no direct knowledge, Your Honor. It is simply a paper review on my end.
I'm amazed, Attorney Lopez. Kasi ang tingin ko sa mga abogado meticulous sila, binabasa. Pero on your part, working as the Chief of Staff, hindi ka naging meticulous. Anyway, I'll go to another topic. I will refer to your letter to the Honorable Gamaliel Cordoba, 21 August 2024. I think you already saw this letter and, shall we say, state to the committee that you signed. This signature is yours, right?
Your Honor.
Now, when you signed this letter, kayo po ang gumawa?
Your Honor, this matter was...
Pakisagot lang po yung tanong ko. Kayo po ang gumawa?
Hindi po, Your
Hindi.
Honor.
So, sino po ang gumawa nito?
It was drafted by Mr. Lemuel Ortonio.
Is Mr. Lemuel Ortonio a lawyer?
No, Your Honor, he's
No.
not.
And you read this letter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you agreed with all the contents of this letter?
That was our position, Your Honor. It was a shared...
No.
Yes.
You answer my
Yes.
question. Now, may I ask, Can you explain to me that when we investigate the use of confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education, you are of the position that the subject subpoena violates the constitutional principle of separation of powers? Could you please educate me? How did we violate the principle of separation of powers? Nandito po sa sulat po ninyo, pinirmahan ninyo.
Your Honor, may I read the letter in toto? Yes. For the record, it says, the principle of separation of powers is violated when one branch of government unduly encroaches in the domain of another. Jurisprudence provides that there are only two ways to violate the subject principle, namely, by impermissible interference with another department's performance and by assumption of another department's functions. Here, it is clear that the subpoena was not issued in aid of legislation and thus exceeds the legislative power of inquiry, and its issuance impermissibly interferes with the exclusive functions of the Commission on Audit and infringes upon the independence of the Commission. And then, first, Congress has no power to participate or otherwise take part in any audit process. Obtaining any information in a pending audit clearly does not serve a legislative purpose of drafting or remedying legislation. Second, the audit decisions which the committee seeks to obtain are in cases still pending adjudication and therefore not final, not conclusive, and cannot be used as a fair, accurate, or intelligent basis for legislation. Third, COA has already published its annual audit reports for fiscal year 2022 and 2023, which are specifically intended to aid the executive and legislative departments in crafting responsive laws and regulations. Fourth, the only purpose mentioned is to expose to the public the use of confidential funds by the offices headed by the Vice President and purportedly whether such use follow the guidelines. During the subject hearing, Representative Castro stated, since hindi po pwedeng sabihin dito yung findings, yung report o yung anumang observations ng COA, ang mga taong bayan po interesado dito sa confidential funds at kung paano ito ginamit, kung ito po ba ay sumunod dun sa guidelines. Also, as reported in the media, Representative Castro has been known to say that the Vice President has not yet satisfactorily explained the OVP spending of confidential funds in 2022. She added that the VP still has yet to account how she spent the said funds in 2023 and that she is not off the hook yet. End of quote. This is not related to any legislative purpose. There is no congressional power to expose for the sake of exposure. The determination of whether the utilization of the funds complied with audit guidelines falls within the exclusive mandate of the Commission on Audit. It cannot be overemphasized that COA has the exclusive power, authority, and duty to examine, audit, and settle all accounts pertaining to the revenue and receipts of, and expenditures or uses of funds and property. Constitutional framers envisioned the COA as a dynamic, effective, efficient, and independent watchdog of the government, and for this reason conferred upon it broad and extensive powers. Allowing a committee of the House of Representatives to subpoena audit decisions pertaining to an ongoing audit will only hamper the COA's performance of its duties. On the other hand, the determination as to the legality of confidential funds solely falls within the exclusive mandate of the judiciary. Clearly, therefore, Congress cannot infringe upon constitutional mandates vested upon other branches of the government. Item 2. The enforcement of the subject subpoena
No. Let's stop there. So,
Okay.
yung tanong ko, please explain to me why the hearing conducted by this committee would violate the separation of powers. Yun po yung katanungan ko eh.
Opo. Your Honor,
You said COA is an independent body. Nandito nga sila, tinatanong namin eh. That is why I asked whether Mr. Ortonio is a lawyer or not. Believe nga ako eh. I'm amazed, Madam Attorney. Attorney ka, naniniwala ka dito sa sinabi ng isang hindi attorney.
Your Honor.
Di ba?
Respectfully, this is the position of the agency.
Hindi ko tinatanong eh.
Oo.
Tinatanong ko lang eh. I am amazed, Madam Attorney, na naniniwala ka sa legal stance ng isang hindi attorney. Kaya, please answer my question. Where did we violate the separation of powers by conducting this legislative inquiry?
Your Honor,
Explain to me.
yes. There is currently an ongoing audit in the Office of the Vice President as regards the confidential funds. The power to conduct audit or investigate belongs to the Commission on Audit.
No argument about that.
Yes. That is why, Your Honor, we feel it is our position that given that the audit is still ongoing, it is not final, it is not yet conclusive, the release of said documents or information infringes on the right of the Commission on Audit to conduct a full-scale investigation given that it is still pending. So that is our position, Your Honor. It is simply that. It is a request that we made to the Commission on Audit. It does not in any way, Your Honor, mean that we do not recognize the power of the Congress to conduct in aid of legislation. It's just the timing, because the audit is still being undertaken and it's not final and still not conclusive, Your Honor. Respectfully.
Chairman.
Congressman
Sure po to.
Paduano.
So, ma'am, kasi po, ang consent for the inquiry in aid of legislation doon sa Suprema is addressed to COA, not to your office. Tama?
Apo.
So, binigay sa amin ng COA. So, COA violates a law? So, by then, kasi logic dictates na COA dapat. Di ba? Kasi, hindi naman kami may isayo ng dokumento eh. Di ba? It's the COA.
Opo.
Now, COA give us the document. Now, so, did COA violate any law?
Your Honor, that is not for us to determine. We simply request
No,
that
no.
COA.
Now, kaya nga eh. Okay. Now, because that is your position, supposedly, legally, you have to file a case against COA. Did you file a case against COA?
No, Your Honor.
Oh.
It was just a letter request.
Because, no. Now, letter request. Now, COA give us the document.
Yes.
Sino ngayong tama? Kayo o yung Congress? O yung committee? Hindi, ma'am. Kasi ganito, abogada ka eh.
Apo.
Then, if you invoke this letter of yours with regards to possible violation of law, you should file a case.
Yes.
Diba? But not in Congress. Sa COA. Because COA complied to the orders by this committee.
Yes.
Diba? You're a lawyer. Diba, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. But in this case, Your Honor, we simply made a request to the Commission on Audit.
Hindi nga eh. But still you argue. Until now. A while ago, you stated that you still stand by your letter. Despite of the fact na sinagot na nga kita, in my committee, ang dami ko na pong in-order sa COA to conduct a fraud audit. Kahit wala pa pong ending nga, EUM pa lang. Because there is a basis to conduct a fraud audit. Now, question of, sinasabi mong dapat, question of legislation? Ma'am, attorney, don't you know na because of this investigation, we should pass a law with regards to confidential funds. Second, yung public funding law, that should be amended. Hindi pa ako tapos BTR. Dami tayong pag-usapan yan. Question of COA, Memorandum Circular ng 7-002, that should be also amended at ilagay mismo sa mandate ng COA. Kasi ang daming misinterpretation doon. MC 97002, iba yung requirements. Pagdating doon sa BTR, tinatanggal yung ibang requirements. And the only way that we can resolve that issue and problem with regards to COA and BTR is to legislate law. A law. Specific provision of law na dapat malinaw. Ano ba talagang requirements doon sa mga cash advances and requirements for an SDO. Yun po, attorney. Kaya hindi nyo pwedeng sabihin na we're conducting this investigation not in aid of legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Your Honor, yes. Thank you also. I hear you.
May I continue, Mr. Chair?
Please continue, Congressman Akop.
Yung reason po ninyo is the principle of separation of powers is violated when one branch of government unduly encroaches on the domain of another. Period. Now, at what instance, pag-conduct namin ng hearing na ito, did we encroach on the domain of another branch of government?
Your Honor, in this case, Your Honor, as stated, the audit investigation is still ongoing. It would seem that if the documents would be provided to the end of Congress, it is as if Congress is also conducting an audit process.
We're not conducting an audit process.
Yes.
We're conducting an inquiry in aid of legislation pursuant to the Constitution.
Okay.
Now, tell me, wala pa kayong naipapakita sa akin na paano kami nag-i-encroach doon sa domain ng other branches of government. Show me.
Your
You
Honor,
must remember, Attorney, that we have oversight functions over the budget of government. And part of that oversight function is the reason why we can conduct inquiry regarding the use. So that maybe we could change, for example, the joint circular of regarding the liquidation of confidential funds. Kayo, sa letter ninyo, presume na wala kami legislative intent. How can you do that? How can you presume that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but during the time this letter was made, there was no draft legislation or there was no...
We can conduct legislative inquiry and the bill can be filed after the legislative inquiry.
Yes.
Kasi malicious kasi yung nasa utak ninyo
Your Honor, respectfully.
Ano po?
Yes, our position, Your Honor, is just that hindi pa po tapos kasi yung audit investigation. Yun lang naman po. That's why we requested COA not to release it
sige,
first.
please cite me a law which would say na yung ginawa po namin na dahil hindi pa tapos ang audit, hindi kami makapag-conduct ng legislative inquiry on the issue. Can you cite me a provision of law?
None at the moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
None
Kaya
at the
nga,
moment.
sabi ko, bakit ka naniwala sa isang hindi abogado? Now, may the enforcement of the subject subpoena will violate the office of the Vice President's right to due process. Could you explain that also to me? Para maintindihan ko.
Yes, Your Honor. But as a starting point, may I read the letter in toto? At least that provision only. If you may allow me, Mr. Chair. Okay. Item number 2, the enforcement of the subject subpoena will violate the office of the Vice President's right to due process. First, enforcing the subpoena against the audit decision contravenes existing rules on the audit process. Disclosing the reports before the conclusion and finality of any audit is premature and will compromise the integrity of the final report. In fact, the Supreme Court has held that notices of disallowance may be released only to the parties having direct material interest, namely the auditor, the head of agency, and the officials directly affected by the said notices. This is to afford opportunity to appeal. Further, COA Circular Number 2013-006 also provides that except as to the status of cases, no information as to the action officer and or the probable disposition or decision of any case pending adjudication before any office of this commission shall be disclosed to any person. Violation hereof shall be the subject of administrative action provided under existing civil service laws. Second, the Office of the Vice President will be deprived of its right to an impartial tribunal and a fair and objective resolution of the cases. Public statements or discussions thereon by the committee or the Congress as a whole may unduly influence the bodies which are already handling the same or similar subject matters. Finally, it must be noted that there are no less than 3 cases on the subject confidential funds that are currently pending with the Supreme Court. Hence, compelled disclosure of the audit decisions may be violative of the sub judice rule, which restricts comments and disclosures pertaining to judicial proceedings. That was our second position, Your Honor, that it violates the subject subpoena will violate the due process, the right to due process of the Office of the Vice President.
What is what would be the elements of due process?
That there is
When can you say that a person is granted due process?
when he is informed, Your Honor, of his rights and
Hindi ba kayo na-inform? Enumerate mo yun, Iha. Tatanungin ko.
The right to due process, Your Honor, pertains to the fact that that a person is made aware of his rights, and if there is any complaint or wrong that he has done, he's also made aware of such, and he's given a chance and opportunity to explain.
Yun po ang pinaka-importante. Di po ba? Pero paano nga kayo makapag-i-explain if you do not, avail of the opportunity na mag-explain dito? Di ba? Yung mga tao nga ninyo, wala rito para mag-explain. And you say na the Vice President is deprived of an impartial tribunal. May conclusion na kayo kaagad na impartial kami? Is that what you're trying to tell us, Madam Attorney?
No, Your Honor.
That is what your letter says.
We are merely saying, Your Honor, that the audit investigation is not final and not
Hindi nga.
conclusive.
Ang sinabi mo rito the office of the Vice President will be deprived of its right to an impartial tribunal. Your conclusion is impartial na kami Di ba? Right?
We are also burdened by the fact, Your Honor, that there are 3 pending cases before the Supreme
Now,
Court.
what are these 3 pending cases?
This is as regards the 125 million, Your Honor, funds, confidential funds. These are still pending with the Supreme Court.
So?
For that reason, Your Honor, following the sub judice rule, we feel that it is not...
Ikaw na nga. Ay, nako.
Attorney, question of sub judice, malinaw na yan, may Supreme Court ruling na yan, di ba? Di ba walang sub judice with regards to inquiry in aid of legislation? Di ba? Ang daming, andyan, may mga jurisprudence na yan. Di ba, do you confirm? Di ba may mga ruling na yan ng Supreme Court with regards to sub judice?
Meron po, Your Honor.
O, and that sub judice cannot be applied in inquiry in aid of legislation. Malinaw yan.
And
Kaya nga ba-
additional...
Kaya nga sinasabi ko, Iha, sa'yo, bakit naniwala ka sa isang hindi abogada o abogado, ikaw ay abogado?
And additionally, Panyera, let me read Section 1 of Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. Under paragraph 2, it provides that the filing or pendency of a case before any court, tribunal, or quasi-judicial or administrative body shall not stop or abate any inquiry conducted to carry out a legislative purpose. So regardless, even assuming for the sake of argument that you are correct, na meron po kayong pending case, it will not stop Congress or this committee from conducting its inquiry in aid of legislative purpose.
I hear you, Your Honor.
Okay. Please continue, Congressman Akop.
Last issue, Mr. Chair. The subject subpoena may not be validly enforced due to the nature of confidential funds. What do you mean by this, Madam Attorney?
Again, may I read item 3, which is the last position. The subject subpoena may not be validly enforced due to the nature of confidential fund. A recognized restriction to the right of information is national security matters and intelligence information. There is governmental privilege against public disclosure with respect to state secrets regarding military, diplomatic, and other national security matters. As a matter of fact, Memorandum Circular Number 15, 2023 provides that a specific exception to the right of access to information is privileged information relating to national security, defense, or international relations. Moreover, Joint Circular Number 2015-01 or the Guidelines on the Entitlement, Release, Use, Reporting, and Audit of Confidential Funds specifies that reports of national government agencies pertaining to the use of confidential funds are submitted specifically only to the President, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House. Acknowledging the highly sensitive nature of the information involved, the agencies deem it necessary to restrict access only to the enumerated officials and exclude the collegial bodies in which they belong. Finally, the COA rules explicitly provide that audit decisions may only be released to persons specifically enumerated thereunder the rules. The pertinent COA circulars likewise require the confidentiality of all information involved in cases pending adjudication. These confidentiality rules were put in place to ensure the observance of due process and to preserve and protect the information in pending audit cases. No valid and legitimate purpose has been forwarded to overcome the protections set forth under the Constitution and rules stated above. In view of the foregoing, this is where we respectfully urge the Honorable Commission to uphold the paramount confidentiality of the information being sought by the subpoena.
Are
Thank you.
you trying to tell us that Congress cannot look into how confidential funds or intelligent funds are spent?
No, Your Honor. Congress,
So, paano mo i-explain tong rason mo rito?
ang sinasabi lang naman po namin dito, Your Honor, is that in this case, hindi pa po conclusive and final yung audit investigation report.
Ay, yung nga yung tinanong ko sa iyo kanina, please tell me if there's a provision of law that prevents us from conducting inquiries in aid of legislation while the findings of COA are not yet final. Meron ba? Sinabi mo kanina, wala eh.
I cannot cite any particular
Then,
law, Your Honor.
you
But
have no basis then.
ang-
Or your writer, Mr. Ortonio, does not have any legal basis to state these things. Tama? You being a lawyer. Puro claims lang ito eh. Pero wala kayong pinapakita na legal basis. Tama? First question ko pa lang eh. Ano ang aspect ng national interest na naapektuhan nito? Galing po ako sa military eh. Wala akong makita na aspeto na it would affect our national security.
Our stand, Your Honor, is just extreme caution in discussing matters like this, given that it is still pending investigation. That is the reason why we drafted and requested the Commission on Audit, Your Honor. It was just a mere request and for the Commission on Audit to consider.
I will state again, Madam Chair, kayo po ay abogado. Ako po yung nagtataka kung bakit naniwala kayo sa argumento na inilagay dito ng hindi isang abogado. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, next. Kumusta po si Attorney Lopez? Kasi tayo kayo ng tayo. Understandable naman kung meron kayong ano dito, no?
Scoliosis, Your Honor.
At sa loob ng 9 na oras, very cool din kayo sa pagsagot.
Thank you.
Okay, so tayo po, ginagawa lang natin yung trabaho natin. So naintindihan po natin yun, di ba? Attorney.
Yes, ma'am. We
Okay.
understand.
Dito sa letter, alam niyo parehas talaga kami ng line of thought ni ni General Acop Representative Acop, yung mga tanong niya, natatanong niya na dito sa letter na to. Except for doon sa binanggit yung pangalan ko. Okay, so ito no, doon sa fourth, in-emphasize pa, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, for the sake of exposure. Ang tanong ko lang kay Attorney Lopez, Mr. Chair, napapanood niyo po ba ako or nasusubaybayan niyo po ba yung mga nire-raise ng representasyong ito sa mga budget hearing?
Hindi po lahat, pero may mga instances.
Yes.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
So, nasusubaybayan niyo po ba yung posisyon ng Makabayan Black sa confidential funds?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano po yun, kung alam niyo?
That certain agencies should only be given, should only be allotted confidential funds. Not all agencies. Am
No.
I right? I'm sorry.
Medyo kulang. So, ang posisyon po ng Makabayan dyan, pati ng kinatawang ito, ay i-abolish talaga ang confidential funds. Dahil, eto na nga, no? This is it. Nakikita na natin kung paano nagagamit, no? O paano siya nami-misuse. Based naman dito sa mga nakikita na natin. Okay, so, sinasabi ni Attorney Lopez, Mr. Chair, for the sake of exposure. So, ano po yung ibig sabihin nun? Bakit parang in-emphasize nyo pa na ako ay ni-raise ko itong confidential fund for the raise of exposure? Anong tingin nyo mapapala ko na i-raise ko to for the sake of exposure?
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
You're recognized, Attorney Lopez.
Thank you, Sir Chua. Ma'am, as mentioned earlier, the letter that we have submitted is a mere request to the Commission on Audit.
Yeah.
It is a simple statement of our position, given that there is a ongoing audit investigation on the confidential funds.
No, you are not responsive, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
doon sa tanong ko. So, anong mapapala ko lang doon sa sinasabi nyo na, at in-emphasize nyo pa for the sake of exposure. No? The only purpose mentioned is to expose to the public the use of confidential funds. So, the only purpose ay, expose ko lang yan? Tingin mo, wala akong dahilan. Bakit natin nire-raise itong confidential funds?
Hindi naman po, Your Honor. Ito lang po yung position namin as an office. Hindi naman namin sinasabi na wala po kayong purpose. Except
to expose it.
No, in this case kasi, Your Honor, the premise is that hindi pa po final yung findings ng audit investigation. So, we feel that it was not the right time to release it because it was inconclusive. It was not final. Yun naman po. But it is not to say, Your Honor, that you have no purpose.
Yes.
Really, at the
Oo.
end of the day, meron po kayong position. I understand that as member of the Makabayan, sorry, Your Honor. Makabayan Bloc.
Yes. As member of the Makabayan, mula pa nung panahon ni former representative sa Turo Ocampo, against na kami sa mga confidential funds, sa mga iba't ibang funds na walang control, no, yung ating taong bayan. Kaya yung pag-expose natin ng confidential funds, hindi lang yan sa panahon namin. At nakita naman natin yung mga experience niyan. Instead, di ba, kung meron tayong confidential funds, ibigay yan doon sa mas tangible na mga projects, mapapakinabangan ng taong bayan, di ba? So, yun po yung ano namin doon. At hindi yung dahil in-expose lang natin. Kasi meron din kasing statement si Vice President with due respect na ginamit itong confidential funds, no? At napag-usapan namin with the speaker. Walang ganon. For the record, Mr. Chair, no? Walang ganon na etong confidential funds, kaya daw in-expose ni France o kaya in-expose ng Makabayan dahil meron kaming kontsabahan ng speaker or leadership. Walang ganon, no? Nakita nyo naman, no? Bakit natin expose ito? Dahil may nakita tayong notice of disallowance at bukod pa dun sa purpose natin na syempre hindi dapat nagkakaroon ng confidential funds. So, yun po, no? Para on the record, malinaw lang yung posisyon ng Makabayan at ng kinatawang ito dito sa confidential funds at walang kinalaman si Speaker, with due respect, no, kung bakit namin ini-expose yung confidential funds. O baka naman isipin na naman ni Vice President na pinagtatanggol natin ng Speaker. Wala pong ganon, no? Dito sa Kongreso, magkakaiba man kami ng position dito sa Kongreso, we respect each other's political position, political belief, no? So, talagang gano'n na, kasi iba-iba talaga pinanggagalingan. Okay, so gusto ko lang malaman, di ba? Gusto ko lang din linawin yung point na yon. Well, ako rin, Mr. Chair, nag-expose, ako rin yung nag-motion for subpoena duces tecum dito sa confidential na 125, kung natatandaan niyo po, no? At ang reason doon ay dahil meron tayong nakuhang ND, Notice of Disallowance. At tama naman, at tingin niyo ba, may karapatan ang mamamayan na malaman nila itong pinagkakagastusan ng confidential funds na sinabi ko naman doon sa when we hear the budget of the COA that time.
Your Honor, the agency errs on the side of prudence because according to the JC Memorandum Circular, this is information that is only given to certain agencies. Yun lang naman ang position namin. We just want to be on the prudent side of releasing information.
Yes. Kaya nga, in aid of legislation, binuksan natin itong issue ng confidential funds.
Yes.
Wala pa ang VP, wala pa ang OVP, ay issue na natin itong confidential funds. Kaya gusto natin talagang mabago, no? Yung pagtingin dito sa confidential funds. Okay, Mr. Chair, nung tinanong natin during the budget hearing of the OVP, yung tungkol sa, ako yung first na nagtanong doon sa budget hearing ng budget ng OVP. Did you remember that, Mr. Chair? Nandun ka sa likod ni VP.
Opo,
Oo,
yes,
nandun
yes.
ka sa likod ni VP. At talaga namang hindi ako satisfied kasi wala naman siyang sinagot. 2 linya lang yung mga sinabi niya, di ba? So, hindi ako satisfied talaga. Okay, Mr. Chair. So, yun lang, no? Gusto ko lang linawin yung ano ba yung position namin sa confidential funds? Ano ba yung papel dito ni Speaker? No, walang papel. whatsoever si Speaker doon sa pag-ano namin, pagbusisi namin sa confidential funds. Hindi lang naman OVP. Kung mapapakinggan nyo ko, ang makabayan, hindi lang confidential funds ng OVP ang kinikriticize namin. Tama? Okay, so, Mr. Chair, kanina pa kasi, na tinatanong natin si Attorney Lopez, na sinasabi niya parang wala siyang alam sa confidential funds. Not until na sinabi ng ating si DS Suarez, yung tungkol dun sa dalawang letter. Na ang ibig sabihin, meron siyang alam kahit papaano dito sa confidential funds. Pero kung di pa binrought out itong letter na to, na talagang kayo, yung nakapirma dito, ay talagang mukhang pangangatawanan ninyo, na wala talaga kayong alam. Tama ba yung impression ko?
Your Honor, wala po talaga akong alam as regards the disbursement, utilization.
Hindi. Hindi yun. Yung the whole, yung confidential funds. Kasi parang sinasabi mo kanina na labas ka doon sa confidential funds. Kasi from budgeting, kasi tinanong ko nung last meeting, si Mr. Tendo, Rabago, napag-usapan naman talaga ito, yung 125, na pagre-request, nung 125. So may alam ka doon.
Siguro ma'am, for the record, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please continue,
Ayun lang
Attorney
po yung
Lopez.
point of clarification. Ang point of clarification is that I am aware that in the budget of the OVP, meron po tayong confidential funds. Ang wala lang po akong direct or personal information is as regards the utilization, disbursement of the set fund.
I respect your
Yun po
your
yung-
answer to that.
May clarification.
Pero you respect me also na hindi ako naniniwala.
I understand, Your Honor.
So naniniwala ka ba na yung confidential fund is a public fund? It is not private.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So lahat po ng public fund, according to the law, ay ino-audit yan. At tinitignan kung saan ginamit at dapat alam din ng bayan, ng taong bayan, saan niya napunta.
Yes, Your
Tama.
Honor.
Oo. Kaya walang confidential na nga, kino-confidential pa natin, yung paggasta nito. At sinasabi natin, kaya gusto natin baguhin yun Kung magtutuloy pa rin yung confidential fund, hindi lang dapat speaker, hindi lang dapat Senate President, hindi lang dapat agency ang nakakaalam nitong utilization ng confidential funds. At doon tayo nang gagaling, mabago yung mga But of course, ang position namin, i-abolish yan. Okay, Mr. Speaker, dahil dito sa sulat na to, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, sinasabi kasi dito sa sulat na ito na tama ba request lang sa COA na wag pagbigyan yung aming request for the subpoena?
It was really just a request directed to the Commission on Audit, Your Honor.
Pero Mr. Chair, on the second paragraph nung kanyang letter, yung letter po ni Attorney Lopez, nakalagay dito, we are of the position that the subject subpoena should not be complied with for the following reasons. Ayun, na-explain mo na yon. Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng should not? Are you commanding? Are you demanding the COA na wag sumunod doon sa subpoena duces tecum?
If, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Please continue, Attorney Lopez.
Yes, if you read the entirety of the letter, it is really a respectful request sa Commission on Audit. We are not demanding them or instructing them. It is really a respectful request if you read in the entirety.
Yes, oo. Pero pag should kasi parang demanding na yon, commanding na yon para sa akin,
And
okay?
Yes, and
Okay,
may
so
I also add.
Yes, kung hindi ito demanding, commanding, parang siga-siga ba yung Office of the Vice President na utusan yung OVP, utusan
COA.
ang COA na hindi kami sundin ang Congress or House of Representatives?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, hindi po siga-siga ang OVP. It is really just a respectful request, Your Honor. for them to consider our position. Like all position papers filed, ito po yung we feel that these are the issues that we needed to raise. So,
Okay.
which we addressed to the Commission on Audit.
Okay. So kanina, Mr. Chair, no, binanggit na ng ating mga colleagues yung mga dahilan, no, kung bakit mali ang paniniwala ng Office of the Vice President, kung bakit we are holding a hearing in aid of legislation dahil sabi nila wala pa daw batas o wala pa daw panukalang batas. So kaya nga tayo nag-hear ng, 'di ba? Malinaw naman na 'yan. Pero dito sa letter na ito, Mr. Chair, may plano talaga ang Office of the Vice President na mag-interfere doon sa ating conduct ng ating proceedings. Dahil dito, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Attorney Lopez, no, dahil ikaw yung nakapirma dito, and according to our rule, one of the reasons on the undue is the undue interference in the conduct of proceedings. So may I move, Mr. Chairs, na nag-violate si Attorney Lopez dito sa ating proceedings or doon sa ating trabaho due to this Section 11, letter F, undue interference in the conduct of proceedings. May I move to cite Attorney Lopez in contempt, Mr. Chair? I move.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, before you make the ruling,
Any second?
if I may be allowed,
Any second to the motion?
uh,
Duly seconded. Is there any objection?
Your
Hearing none, the
Honor.
motion is carried.
respectfully, it was not the intention of the Office of the Vice President to...
Attorney, you wait for me to acknowledge you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For that,
Apologize, Your Honor.
I move for 1 minute suspension. Yes, Attorney
Your Honor, Mr.
Lopez.
Chair, I would like to seek reconsideration, Your Honor, of that recent resolution to cite me in contempt, Your Honor. For the record, it was just respectful request to the Commission on Audit. There was no intention, Your Honor, to demand from them or to order them or to commandeer them into something that they did not want to do. It was really something that we requested of the Commission on Audit, and at the end of the day, it is still the Commission on Audit who will decide best, Your Honor. And on another matter, this is a personal note for the Congressman Franz. Ma'am, I truly apologize if there was something in that letter that slighted you on a personal note. It was not my intention, Your Honor. I deeply apologize, and I wish and I hope you would consider my apology. This is my personal apology, ma'am. And I would like to request to the members of the Honorable Committee to lift that contempt order or to reconsider and grant my request, Your Honor, not to cite me in contempt. Maraming salamat, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
What is the pleasure of Congresswoman Franz Castro?
Well, Mr. Chair, on a personal, no, the apology is accepted. However, in the totality of the discussion from 10 o'clock up to now, nakita natin, Mr. Chair, no, very evasive, yung mga sagot ni Attorney Lopez. Tsaka nakita talaga natin na itong letter na to, hindi lang itong letter na to, Mr. Chair, yung totality talaga ng mga discussions pa kanina, yun yung dahilan bakit natin siya gustong nag-move tayo na to cite in contempt. Kaya, Mr. Chair, I stand by my motion, Mr. Chair.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.